Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here, or Target Tank 12, however you want to call me, I don't really care. And first and foremost, Happy New Year to all of you guys. I hope you had a really good holiday season. I was pretty busy with learning for my exams. Fortunately for me, I'm finished up until, I think, February. I have some time now. I'm gonna make some videos. I'll go back into my old routine, and I'm really glad to be back in World of Tanks. Because I just came back to the perfect time just to see that they have released news to 9.22, and holy crap, what is expecting us in the near future. And we'll go over to that, and we're gonna see how that is going to be playing out right now. But first and foremost, I'm gonna give you guys some plans, give you guys some ideas what I'm planning into the to release in the next couple of days. First and foremost, I wanted to cover the Lhotsa M4A2 Sherman. I know it's another Sherman premium tank, but I'm still going to be covering it because this time around actually it's just like the other E2 version. I have to check real fast what it is called again because I forgot its name. The tank that actually General Abrams was driving in, the Thunderbolt, exactly. This tank belonged to the Soviet tank ace Lhotsa. I forgot his first name, but we'll get to that eventually. I'll make a video about this further down the road. In like a day or in 2 days, you'll see what this tank is all about, and I'll be covering that as well. And then I have some other plans regarding some gameplays, and actually I wanted to try out live streaming for once, like first time ever. I'm not even sure when I'm gonna be doing that, but I'll try to announce it if possible. I'm not even sure if you guys are interested in live streaming, but I just want to try it out for once. And then I have some gameplay that I want to show you guys on certain vehicles, and maybe talk about some experiences in World of Tanks that I had in the last few weeks. I haven't really been that active, but I've played a few matches here and there throughout the holiday season when I had some time. And yeah, I think it's very nice. And definitely I want to continue the overview, the review of the month, 2017, December, last month of the year. For World of Tanks, what it meant, what I liked about it, and yeah, give you guys some future thoughts, what I am expecting of World of Tanks, and how great the year has been. So yeah, that's enough of the planning. Let's move on over to 9.22. So like the last time I made this kind of a video, we are going to be looking into several sources. I will link all of the sources that I've used in the description down below, so you can paint your own picture of the thing, you know, of the patch 9.22. So our main source this time around is going to be the North American website of World of Tanks. And you can see the contents: medium tanks, new heavy tank line, and alternative tank destroyer line. These changes will be coming in 9.22. Up until now, we only know the changes of the Soviet Techtree, but it does seem to be a crazy change. I can say so much. We're not going to be reading all of this, but we're going to be taking a look into the Techtree of 9.22. And first of all, I know it's Russian, but that doesn't mean that we cannot understand it, because I myself do understand a bit of Russian since I've lived there for quite a while, and that's, I think it's easy enough to understand for all the people who've played World of Tanks. So Technica SSSR, that is the Techtree of the Soviet Union, and the first thing you'll notice is there are new tier 10 heavy tanks and new tier 10 tanks. And they're like 2 tier 10 tanks that we still don't know anything about. The Skora means to be announced. And what you can see is, holy crap, there are some things coming in our way that will change the game for like a lot. It will be a big change, big impact for World of Tanks. First and foremost, what do we notice here? Object 705A, a brand new Soviet tier 10 heavy tank. Object 2684, a brand new Tier 10 Soviet tank destroyer, and the Object 430U, a brand new Tier 10 Soviet medium tank. But what is really weird about all these things is that where is the Object 263 and where's the Object 430? Well, these tanks have been replaced. Not completely, but they have been replaced and set into a new category or new tier. You can still see the Object 263, but it has turned into a Tier 9 tank destroyer and is no longer the Tier 10 tank destroyer that we have known, and some of us have loved it. This tank will replace the Su-122-54. That tank no longer will exist in World of Tanks. I'm not sure if it's going to return as a Tier 8 premium tank or a completely new Soviet tank destroyer line, but as far as we know, it's completely gone out of the game and it will be replaced by the Object 263. We'll get to the thing later on, what it means, for all the people who own that tank. We'll get to that eventually, because Wargaming have very clearly stated in this 9.22 preview what will happen to all the people who own these tanks currently that will be replaced, or the tanks that will change into a new line. So what we notice first and foremost is the Object 2684. We will take a closer look at all the new vehicles that will be coming eventually later on. This tank is very similar to the Object 268 in its armament, but in its looks it's very different, because it does keep in line with the predecessors in this tank line, with the gun being stored in the back. I'm currently playing the Su-101. I do enjoy this line, but it doesn't have any gun depression. I know why people don't like it as much as the ISU, because it's just very unflexible. I hope they add some more gun depression to this line, because it could really use it. I mean, Soviet tanks don't have good gun depression, gun elevation as it is, but these tanks are just absolutely horrendously bad with gun depression. Then the next thing that you will notice is that the T-44 now leads over to the T-54, as we have already known before, but over to the Object 430 as well. The Object 430, as I mentioned previously, will now be a Tier 9 medium tank, and you can get it over the way of the T-44. It will lead to the Object 430U, a very interesting tank. I think a Soviet medium tank with an armament of a 122mm gun. So it's going to be very similar to the 121 of the Chinese Techtree. And we'll take a look at this tank eventually as well. So what does this mean for all the owners of the Object 430? Well, you are going to get a free Tier 10 tank, the Object 430U, and you're going to get a free Tier 9 tank, the Object 430. So you kind of get a free Tier 9 vehicle for owning the Object 430. But we'll get to that eventually as well. The A44 and the A43 now, they don't lead over to the Object 430 anymore, but they still lead over to the Object 430/2 or Object 432, since the turrets are in the back and Wargaming are trying to give people the chance, the opportunity to play the vehicles that resemble the predecessors. You know, they want to have a Tier 10 tank that plays very similar to the Tier 9 version. In my opinion, I really enjoyed that they were completely different from time to time. Like one tier meant a complete change from the other tier, but I can see why they're doing it. It will probably benefit the majority of the player base in World of Tanks. It will make it easier for the people to play, and it will probably increase their skill in these vehicles as well. So if some people are out there and they're not happy with their Tier 10 tank teammates, at least they know that they have had a lot of experience with playing this kind of vehicle type. So the Object 432 will lead over to a completely new Tier 10 medium tank. And we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know the name. It's still to be announced. I do think it will be released in 9.22. The test server will be starting in, I don't know, I think 10-15 days. and you will be able to get a glimpse of what is coming your way. So I'll definitely be giving you guys some feedback on what is going to be happening in the patch 9.22, and I'm very excited. It's probably going to be a tank that has a turret in the back as well. Moving on, the IS now leads over to the IS-3 and the new ISM. A new Soviet heavy tank line will be established with the ISM, and you're gonna get to the Object 705 and eventually to the Object 705A, the very first Soviet line with a turret based in the back. So very similar to the German heavy tank line, where you can get to the VK 721P or whatever it's called, or the FE215B, which no longer is available in the game. Only people who have unlocked it previously to the patch have received it. Then the IS-3 now leads over to the Object 257 and to the IS-7, and what you can see right here is that the T10 has completely changed its place with the Object 257. So if you own the T10 and you have it in your garage at the time of the patch, you'll get the Object 257 as a free tank. And at the same time, you have the T10 in your garage as well. So pretty damn cool. The T10 leads over to a new Tier 10 heavy tank that is still to be announced. I think it's going to be very similar to the T10 as well. You know, fast, maybe not as well armored as the IS-7 or the IS-4, but it just does have this extra flexibility that the T10 had. In its wake. So pretty damn crazy. To sum it all up, what you have to keep in mind is that the Object 430 will be replaced. The line of the Object 416, the Object 432 will no longer end up at the Object 430. It will end up to a new medium tier 10 medium tank. And that the Object 263 will be replaced. The SU-122-54 will no longer be in the game. And that there's a complete new line in the game, and that when you have the T10, you will get a tier 9 tank for free. Same goes for the Object 430. If you get the Object 430, you'll get a tier 9 tank for free. And if you grind the Object 432 and the T10, if you already have the Object 430 and the IS-7, you can get those two new tier 10 vehicles like instantaneously. So moving on, I don't want to make this video too long. What does this mean for the people who already have an Object 430? The Object 430 will be replaced. If you have it in your garage, you'll get the Object 430U and the Object 430 at tier 9. The crew will be retrained to the Object 430. The equipment, camouflage, the emblems, all that stuff will go back to the depot, so you can re-equip it, put it on the tank, doesn't matter, whichever vehicle you choose it to put on. Marks of excellence and all that stuff will remain on the Object 430U, so keep that in mind. And the discount that you could put on any vehicle you wanted, if you put it on the Object 430, will be transferred over to the Object 430U. Same goes for the T10 when it's going to be replaced. This time around, it's just very interesting to note that if you have the T10, you have the experience, but you haven't unlocked the IS-7, the experience will be transferred over to the Object 257. But if you have the IS-7 unlocked, the experience will remain on the T10, and you'll be able to unlock the new tier 10 heavy tank that will be coming. Moving on to the Object 263, this tank will be replaced. It's the same as the Object 430. I don't think we have to go into any more detail. But the SU-122-54, this is very interesting. This tank is going to be completely abandoned in 9.22. It will not be in the game anymore. The same goes for, the equipment and all that stuff. It will just go to the depot. But the crew will be retrained to the Object 263. Same goes for the tank. It will be replaced by the Object 263. But all the statistics, marks of excellence, and all that stuff will remain on the SU-122-54, so that its existence will forever be remembered in our statistics. So we're gonna check out the looks of the tier 10 tanks, at least the ones that we can actually check out. And the first tank that we're gonna be looking at is the Object 430U, the replacement to the Object 430. And what you can see is that it's running a 122mm gun. It's very similar looking to the 121 in my opinion, at least from the hull. It's not the same kind of hull as the Object 430, I think at least. But the hit points, as we can see down below, is 2000 shots per minute, 5.9 rounds per minute. So it's not going to be the craziest DPM machine. But it does have an alpha damage of 440, which allows us to look back and see that the gun is probably going to be the same as the IS-4 or the STI, or very similar at least in those regards. Looking at the armor on the other hand, holy shit, this tank on the turret once more is a very, very, very powerful tank. Almost has no weak spots on the turret. Its hull is 160mm thick, so quite effective in balancing a lot of stuff. Its lower plate is its main weak spot with 105mm thickness. And the side, as always, the Russians have some pretty damn crazy space armor, yeah. So that's pretty damn cool. I will link this, as always, in the description. Moving on, we're going to take a look at the first tank of the Soviet Techtree with a back-placed turret, at least the first heavy tank, that is. And you can see it looks kind of awkward. It looks really cool. And what we notice very first and very quickly is the gun depression is terrible. Look at this. Look at this gun depression. Holy shit. It's so bad. It's so bad. Well, okay, it could be worse, but it's pretty damn bad. Still nonetheless. So, yeah. It's not going to be a ridgeline fighter. It's going to be a side-scraping vehicle. 1,500 hit points, same as the IS-3. 5.1 shots per minute, and 390 alpha damage. I hope it's not going to be the stock gun as the IS is using. I would really be disappointed if it's the same gun. Holy shit, it would be so bad. Looking at the armor model, 130mm thickness on the front. It's not that crazy. The lower plate is thicker with 170mm, but the effective thickness is still better because of the angling on the front. So it doesn't look to be too bad. If you have like premium rounds, you'll be able to go through this tank. And there's like this weak spot right here. Nominal thickness 0, but still you can't really pen it because 250. So it's kind of weird to shoot this tank from the front. The lower plate is 170mm thick. The turret, on the other hand, is also very strong with 250mm thickness. And yeah, it does look like one of those tanks that's going to be really annoying to be playing against if it's really effective at side scraping. But the rounded kind of shape will allow you, as soon as you have like an angle at the side, you'll be able to go through this part of the tank without a problem, especially if you're on the side. Still 120mm nominal thickness, but I mean, it's the spaced armor. You'll be able to go through the tank nonetheless. It does have like huge tracks. I think it is a little bit taller than the other Soviet tanks, but yeah, doesn't really matter. Moving on, we're gonna take a look at the Object 705. Oh, wow, this tank looks really cool, in my opinion. Its turret is kind of a mix of IS-7 and IS-4. It has kind of the flat part of the IS-4, but the shape of IS-7. The turret is in the back, as previously mentioned. Gun depression. Gun elevation is not too bad. Gun depression, on the other hand, is also actually not too bad either. So I've seen tanks with worse gun depression. 2,450 hit points, 3.3 shots per minute. That doesn't seem like a lot, but holy shit, damage. 650. This tank is rolling around with a 152mm gun. Holy shit. So, another tier 10 heavy tank with 152mm gun, or 130mm. So yeah, this is going to be really interesting. I didn't even know that up until now. 650 alpha damage does sound pretty damn crazy. The hull, 170mm in the front, very well angled. No chance of going through there. The lower plate, 140mm of armor. Wow, it's it's very thick as well. Effectively, it's pretty damn strong. You can forget about the turret. But maybe you can overmatch the armor on top of the turret. Yes, you can, but it's really difficult to get like such a shot on. You have to be bigger than this tank, you know, taller. Same goes for like this part right here, the flat part. If you're at E100, maybe you can pen it with high explosive. I think you'll be able to do that. That's very interesting. I think this tank will be fairly unfortunate and unlucky against artillery, to be honest. The side armor, on the other hand, as you can see, it's the freaking spaced armor here that makes this tank so crazy. The rear, obviously, it's a weak spot, but the side and the front, this tank is going to be a god at side scraping. I can already say that much. So yeah, it looks really cool, and whew, I think people will be rushing for this tank. Then the Object 257, we unfortunately don't have a tank viewer. The Object 268. And look at this tank. It looks like a mixture of an Object 268 and the SU-101. It's pretty damn cool in my opinion. Gun depression wise, I'm really interested. Actually shows you like it has much more gun depression here than the SU-101 has. Gun elevation is not too... okay, it could be much better. But yeah, it's I think decent. We'll get to know the stats eventually in the test server. 2,100 hit points, 3.5 rounds per minute, 650 alpha damage. It's a 152mm gun as well. The alpha has been eradicated from the 750 to 650. So yeah, unfortunate. I'm not sure if they have done the same with the Object 268. I hope. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. And yeah, let's take a look at the armor. Yeah, the lower plate is like, what is the lower plate? What is that? 290mm? 290mm, don't shoot the lower plate, shoot the upper plate. It's only 100mm thick, but at the same time, it's so crazily angled that if you have like a bad, if you're like, you could balance off the upper plate. Where you can shoot actually is that part right here where you have kind of a... it's very tricky to get through this tank. That the cupola is actually pretty damn strong. Same goes for like the next part, the part next to the gun mantlet. 250mm thick. You'll still be able to go through with heat and I think even high penning standard APCR rounds of premium or tier 10 medium tanks will be able to go through that, because it's pretty damn... actually, no, it's I think it's very even. It's like a nice flat surface. Neither side is not too great either, so this tank is quite vulnerable to the side, as already mentioned, but still looks really cool. So that does finish our kind of preview of the 9.22, the tanks that will be coming. I'm really excited for this patch. I'm not even sure which tank I'll be trying to grind for first, but I hope you guys are interested in this as well. If you like the changes, write it into the comments. If you don't like it, write it in the comments as well, because I really like to know. And yeah, so the last few things that I could say as a summary is, if you don't have the Object 430, but you can get the Object 430 in a month, go for it. You're going to get a free tier 9 medium tank. If you have the T10, don't sell it, play it. If you have the IS, don't sell it, play it, and, you know, grind it, because you can unlock new tanks. Same goes for the Object 432. If you have that, don't sell it, keep it, and yeah, get credits and experience on that tank. Same goes for the Object 263. If you can get the Object 263, get it. You will not get a free tier 10 tank, but if you have the SU-122 54, I mean, you're kind of getting it replaced by the Object 263. Maybe if you have both of these tanks, you'll get like a credit. What do you call this? I just forgot the name. Maybe they'll give you the credits of the SU-122 54 they will reinstate that to your account. You get 3.5 million. I'm not sure if that's going to be happening, but it might just be that you get like free credits. So all in all, very nice changes. Some tanks that will be really crazy, I think, and I'm really interested in how they are going to balance this out. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.